All right, everyone. Welcome to another Tuesday night corporate Zoom meeting for Reaction and My Life Simple. Thank you guys so much for joining us each and every week. I'm going to pass this over to Jeff Arbaugh, our VP of Corporate Communications, for some great, exciting news as always. Thank you, Jeff.
Billy, thanks very much. And as always, welcome. Thanks, guys, for taking a little bit of time out on your Tuesday night. Do want to say that our thoughts are with everybody wherever you are in this country. We're all going through some rather interesting times. So I hope everybody's safe and I hope everybody's happy. That's the first thing. We do have a couple of announcements. Number one, we are going to be giving away 2 T-shirts. So if you're on at the end of the Zoom, we're going to be doing a drawing and giving away 2 T-shirts tonight. A couple of other things. As we talked about last week, we are still planning on having our Facebook Live meeting this Saturday at 11 o'clock Eastern time. And we're going to plan on that unless we hear that we can't do it. Number one, we're hearing some different things about Mecklenburg County, about being on a shelter in place starting Thursday. I've heard that it's been on the news and announced. I've also heard that that may not be true. So in either case, our offices and shop is in Iredell County. So at this point in time, the shelter in place doesn't affect us as far as doing the Facebook Live. Again, plan on being there, invite people. This is going to be a meeting just like the one we had in Mooresville, and it's done, as I've said, in a real powerful way. It's brief, it's concise, it's informational, it's inspirational. Pretty much everybody that was at the meeting in Mooresville signed up. And I say pretty much everybody because we had one guy who bought product but didn't sign up, but he wound up buying about $350 worth of product. So he's very much in the program too, and we do hope that he's going to join us here. But everybody else signed up, so that's the kind of effect the meeting has, I think, on everybody. So again, great thing to ask people to tap in from home. I know some people have children and stuff like that, but if they can steal away for just a couple of minutes, again, 11 o'clock this Saturday Eastern time. And if you have anybody that you've talked to, anybody that you'd like to talk to, just see if they'll carve out a little time and join us on Saturday morning. We are doing this for you guys, the meeting, so take advantage of it. There's a lot of people that aren't here locally, so you can't come to the live meetings, but I encourage everybody to reach out to everybody they can that may be potentially interested. Another announcement that I hope too many people are not terribly upset about it, but I did want to announce that as of this moment in time, we are not only out of fudge, but we are going to be discontinuing the fudge. I say that, and we are also at some point very soon, when we're out of the inventory for the caramels, we're going to be discontinuing those as well. The reason we're doing that, I don't know if everybody really understands the kind of challenge it is when you carry a bunch of SKUs. Truth is, the gummies have come out of the gates so strong, and not only are they our most popular edible, they're our most popular product at the moment too, and I think that's probably going to be that way for quite some time. I won't go into all the reasons, but just as a little kind of heads up, like when we start looking at getting approved in other countries and things like that, you literally have to pay a fee for every SKU you carry. And in some places in Europe, it's like $10,000–$15,000 per SKU. So we're trying to identify our strongest sellers. And while we do know that there are several people, I love the caramels. I'm going to hate to see them go as well. But from a company standpoint, it just doesn't make sense to keep them on and keep supporting the SKUs when we don't need to, when gummies are dominating the edible sales at this point. We do have some caramels still in inventory. I don't know how many, but yes, you can still order those. But if you are big fans of the caramels, I would suggest you get your orders in as soon as you can, because I don't think they're going to last too terribly long. Maybe another couple of weeks, maybe, and don't quote me on that. So there you go, Rachel. Bump that order up and get your caramel orders in. So again, gummies are kicking butt. So that's the main reason. So tonight, guys, I'm going to talk about a couple of different things. I've been exploring with some things on my end here as an ambassador, not as a corporate guy, but as an ambassador. And I'm learning just like you are, in terms of the things that work, don't work, trying things, thinking outside the box, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things about building the business that I've noticed is that the people that are struggling a little bit, I think it's just a question of, again, education, some information, and then kind of changing their perspective about things. And a lot of it is because I think there's a lot of people still focused, I won't say somewhat, but primarily focused on creating customers, creating consumers of the product itself. And that's all great. That's ultimately what we're here to do, is to drive product and introduce this product to everybody we can. But let's talk about building your business tonight, because that's what these corporate Zooms are on Tuesday nights. It's about building your business. I would suggest that people start focusing on other people who want to build a business as well. That's how you're going to create the long-term residual and passive income. And I say that because I think it's really, really important to look for other people. If you look at the different categories that are available to listen to you, engage in conversation with you, and how you build your business, there's different kinds of people. There are some people that you're going to talk to that do just want to do the product, and that's awesome. But when it comes to building the business, who do you start with? Okay, we all generally start with our friends and family, and they call that basically a warm list. That's why people tell you to sit down and make a list of 100 people. Some of you don't have 100 people, and that's no criticism, but some people have larger networks of people to approach than others. So let's say if you don't have 100, let's say you don't have 50, let's say you don't have 20, let's say you have 10. The question is this: when you go through those 10 people, when you exhaust those people, then what? What's next? Do you give up? Do you say that's as far as my business is going to go, is as wide as my smallest, closest circle? We've talked in the past about the fact that the way to build a successful MLM business, your number one category, ultimately, for the people that succeed, isn't really even in that circle of close friends and acquaintances and family members. So you've got your warm list of friends and family members. You've got your wider circle of people that you may be acquaintances, et cetera, et cetera. The number one target demographic for anybody that succeeds in MLM marketing is this: it's all the people out there that you don't know that are looking to start a business. That is the number one category. I don't know whether that surprises some of you, shocks some of you, or whether you're scratching your head, but I thought it was really, again, friends and family, and then that wider circle of acquaintances, as far as getting them and then encouraging them to get their people, et cetera, et cetera. And don't get me wrong, there's still power in that. However, when you, and I've done enough research on this to know that when you talk to people that succeed, their business is comprised mostly of people that they didn't know that were also looking to start a business. So that's what I want to focus on tonight. Again, we know we've got a great product. We've got a superior product. None of us would be here right now if we didn't believe in the product. But, having a great product is like, having passion. You can have passion for something, but it's what we call monetizing the passion. How to make money doing something you're passionate about. So that's what this business building is all about, is how to monetize your belief in the product by attracting people to your business that are also looking for the same kind of opportunity. It's especially timely because right now, guys, as I said last week, MLMs, direct marketing companies, generally soar at times like this. And I will tell you, this is taking off. The last 2 months, but the last month in particular, we're doing great, and we're growing fast to the point now where my time on a daily basis, from when I get up until when I go to bed, is spent texting, talking to people, sharing things, etc. So how do we get people outside of that small circle of our friends and family attracted to this opportunity? And again, I don't know how many of you are familiar with certain sales concepts and things like that, but I want to talk tonight about what a sales funnel is. And I'm going to give you an example of a sales funnel that I've been using over the last, 7 or 8 days that I'm having some success with, and I'll share it with you. And if it fits for you, great. If not, then there's other ways to do it. But I'm going to talk to you about a sales funnel. A sales funnel is basically a business model, and I'm looking at my notes here, so I don't mean to turn off, but a sales funnel is a model, and it goes through stages, and it basically maps out the journey that a customer goes through from first contact or first awareness through conversion into a customer, a consumer, or somebody else who's doing the business. For tonight's purposes, we're going to talk about attracting people to start their own businesses with you and your team as the end goal, as opposed to purchasing product. But the same model applies. I'll tell you, in all my years, in 20 years with my company selling trade show exhibits, I will tell you this: not one job ever came from somebody on the first contact or the first conversation. So that's important to know, because there's a journey to the process. And again, we've talked in the past about, basically regurgitating information and not bombarding them and drinking from a fire hose and all that kind of stuff. If you understand the process, it allows you to step back, be a little more patient, not be desperate, not feel bad if you didn't close somebody, quote unquote, but you follow the process. And the 4 basic sales funnel stages are this: there's awareness, interest, decision, and action. I'm going to have a slide pulled up here in just a second here, if we get somebody from the home office in Omaha, Nebraska to pull that up. That's a picture of what the sales funnel is, okay? It's called a funnel, obviously, because of the shape. And it starts out at the top. It's why, it's a numbers game, as they say. MLM marketing is a numbers game. And I'm talking to you folks tonight about how to reach out now and start expanding your influence of people outside of your small circle of friends and acquaintances. And we're going to talk about how to get some of these numbers too. But it's a numbers game. So you figure if you have 20 people at the top of the funnel, or 100 people, or 500 people, through the journey, through these stages, you'll have a certain number of people that actually become consumers, customers, or in this case, business owners on your team. And this is the process. Again, I don't know if any of you are using the scripts that we talked about, that we made available on the back office, but this is why there's a process to everything, as opposed to literally trying to close somebody in the same time you start talking about things, because you do tend to bombard them. And let me substitute the word you with me or we tend to bombard them with too much information early on. So it's to take them through the journey in terms of when you share things, how much you share, et cetera, et cetera. So at the very top, it's the people that are basically being introduced. Now, this can be done in a number of ways. We've talked about Facebook posts, social media, and things like that. Keep in mind that Facebook marketing, I think a lot of us are relying on Facebook marketing and Facebook marketing only. Like, you're going to put a bunch of posts out there and people are going to reach out and say, hey, I saw your Facebook post. Facebook marketing and social media marketing is just a part of this. It's one way to get the numbers to enter your funnel. And again, you can do that through what we call attraction marketing, by putting out certain posts that really aren't specific as far as the product or the company, but things that attract them to stay engaged with you or become engaged with you, etc. Those people then that become aware may or may not engage with you and become what we call a lead. Now, a lead is very specifically somebody in our target market who's not yet engaged with us. Okay, so what is our target market for the product? Certainly, but more importantly for the business. Who's our target market? Who could benefit from this business? A lot of people. Now, there might be some people that are doing quite well in life that don't have the time, that aren't interested. Boom, you let them go, you don't chase them. But there's a lot of people out there. First of all, everybody can benefit from the product. We know that. So our target market basically is everybody. If you wanted to narrow that down, I would say anybody from 30 and older, because some of the younger kids don't have some of the health issues. And like me, when I was 22, I thought I was rather immortal. Not that these young kids don't deal with anxiety and things like that. But our leads are everywhere, Okay. I had a saying in my business with the trade show stuff that there are people out there looking for me. It's my job to help them find me. Okay. So you get awareness, and then you get somebody who is in the target market. So it's the next step of the funnel. You then go down to the prospect. Okay. And that's somebody who's expressed interest. That's somebody who's commented on your Facebook posts. And I'll use Facebook as an example now. Somebody who's commented on your posts, somebody who's reached out. I now have people after 7, 8 months in the business. I now have people reaching out to me. I have people that up until I stopped leaving the house 5 days ago were approaching me and saying, hey, okay, tell me, what is it that you're doing? A lot of them don't want to reach out on Facebook. A lot of them, again, don't want to open a can of worms and think you're going to, attack them with a whole bunch of information, but they'll talk to me privately, for instance. So that's somebody who's expressed interest or somebody who's reached out. Okay, the next step then is about educating them. And when you go from lead to prospect, it's usually done through what we've talked about as far as the stages to this. We have got a wonderful video that I'm now sending out to people. If they've got 15 minutes to watch that doctor's video, that's a great primer as far as the endocannabinoid system without getting specifically focused on the product initially. But then when it gets to the next stage after that, there are 3 PDFs that I'm sending out to people right now. One is, what is reaction? Number 2, what is the cryosonic and nanotechnology extraction process all about and why that makes it good? And third, the products themselves. Okay, so if you then continue the conversation, they're interested after that, you hopefully will turn them into a customer. Again, whether it's a consumer of the product or whether it's somebody that is opening their own business. And then finally, they become a fan and they tell others. We have another slide here really quick. I'm going to ask them to pull up. And this is just all the same way of describing the same thing. So if you'll understand that this is a process and don't try to put too much pressure on yourself to reach out and then tell them everything there is to know about the product, everything there is to know about the business, but you do it in stages, you bring people along and you help them make the decision. You also find yourself saving time in the long run because you're not continuing to basically expend a lot of energy or, I'll say it, waste a lot of time with people who really aren't interested. So understand that it's a process. I'm going to share with you something that I started doing about a week ago. So we talk about this and going, okay, numbers. So where are these people? Where am I getting people to talk to? Okay, I'm out of people. I've gone through my circle of my friends and family, and now I don't have people to talk to. All the direct marketing experts, the ones that have been successful at this, will tell you the same thing, which is if you run out of people to talk to, your business is dead. Your business depends on finding people to talk to. Again, some of those ways, social media marketing, but it's not the only way. I actually have been doing a lot of research, and I'm going to share this with you guys. And if this fits for you, I'll be glad to share more information, but this is a perfect example. I don't know if anybody knows what leads are or lead sheets or purchasing leads or what that's all about. But in my research, it seemed that there were a lot of people selling leads. Now, what these leads are this. On social media, they're called click funnels. Okay, so this is a funnel, and a click funnel is something that is done by them clicking, by them responding to something. So if you see those things, hey, lose weight now. For more information, click here to learn more. And people click on it. Are you interested in losing weight? What are your goals? What are you struggling with? They'll actually have a little bit of a questionnaire. Now, some people, of course, will click on the click funnel, the first request for information, and go, I don't want to do this, and off they go. But if they do engage in it, what they've got now is a certain set of information that they've given you. And they've given you basically 2 things: the fact that they're interested in it, and they've given you information about what they're looking for, what their objectives are. The number 1 product in the world today is information. So to get information from somebody, to get them engaged, really, really important. So you can set up your own click funnel. Maybe. I can't. I didn't want to mess with that. That's a lot of work. So I was researching companies that basically have leads that they sell, and there's different qualities of leads. And these leads, some of them are just like the cheapest list of leads, for instance, are, people that have, basically said, contact me. But there's other leads that they call telephone leads, which are generally between 0 and 48 hours old. And these are people that this company literally has talked to on the phone, verified the information before then putting them in their database. There's a top level of leads too, which are what they call real-time leads, which is somebody that has been on the phone 5 minutes ago. They will literally email you with that person, and you will get the chance to start engaging with somebody that 5 minutes ago was telling somebody that they're looking for a home-based business. So this company that I contacted, the parameters were that they're looking for a home-based business, and they're looking to make money from home. And some of the criteria, some of the questions, and you can put me back on there, whoever's running the slideshow at the home office. They've filled out the following information: what they're looking for and why. They'll say, I'm looking because stability of income, I lost my job, I quit my job, I want to spend more time with my family. They'll actually give you that information. They'll also answer the question about how much are you prepared to invest to start your home-based business. And some people will say 500 to 750, some people will say 1,000 to 1,500. All that information is important. So what do you do with this information? Okay, so I bought leads last week for myself, and I'll tell you, I paid $49 for 100 telephone interviewed leads. Now, I don't get all 100 in one day, I get 15 per day. And there's a funnel that comes along with. There is a process and a strategy which kind of mirrors some of our scripts that we've talked about in the past. Okay, so one of the more powerful ways that you contact people is by phone. Here's what my hunch is. I think there's a lot of people that don't answer their phones if they don't know the number. And there's a lot of people like me who just don't get around to checking all their voicemails because there's so many and it's just overwhelming at times. So I started, you know what, I'm gonna start a bit of a text campaign here. And so when I got my first leads last week, I sent out a text. Now they have scripts that they give me too. I tweaked one to be a text script, but they have phone scripts, they have follow-up phone scripts, they have second contact phone scripts, they have a message that you leave for voicemail, etc. And it's very interesting how they kind of limit the amount of information you're giving them at every step of the way. You don't come out and start talking about, hey, we got a great product. Let me bombard you with information about the product. Let me talk to you about the business and everything. It's little by little. As a little bit of a diversion right here, I will put an asterisk on this. This process focuses on making it about them. If I could give anybody any advice about any sales at all, whether it's a direct marketing situation like this or in another, sales environment or business environment, make the sale about them. At some point, there's a time for personal testimonial, but it's not in the first couple of steps unless they ask you. It's about sharing the information in a structured way. So my first text, for instance, as a matter of fact, I'm going to read it to y'all. Give me 1 second here. Here's my first text to everybody. It says, hey there, blank, and I personalize it. I put in their name. And I say, I'm reaching out to you because you recently expressed an interest in making money while working from home. I'd like to set up a time to speak with you to see if the company I'm working with might be a good fit for you. If so, I'll share more info when we speak. And if you like what you hear, you can literally start making money immediately. What time works best for you to get on a 5-minute call? So the question is, if you send out, let's say 30 texts, type in the chat bar, how many people do you think it would take to kind of make that effort worth it? If basically it takes you, 15 minutes to send out 15 texts. I will tell you that in my first 2 days, I sent out 30 texts and I got 7 responses from people. So there, 5. I got 7. Now, I'm actually engaged at different levels of the process with those 7 and the people that I've done, because I did it now, I think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then I sent out some more today. And I've got my text that I send out. Now, the first step is the people that respond. A lot of them will say, I'm interested. Can you call me at noon tomorrow? Yes, I do have to keep track of that. And I write it down and make an appointment to call them the next day. It's important to know what time zone there is too. So I then try to get them on the phone. So if they say, okay, can you call me at 12 tomorrow? You call them at 12. Now, that first phone call, like I said, it's a 5-minute phone call. I'm not bombarding them with everything there is to know about the product or the business. I'm basically confirming some of the information that I already know about them, get them talking about themselves, which people like to do. They like to talk about themselves. If you ask, well, what are some of your objectives? Like, why are you looking to make money from home? And you get them talking about themselves. The next question is, listen, I'd like to send you a few things and take a look at it. And after that, I can follow up and give you a call back. Maybe if you can look at it now, I'll call you back in 30 minutes. That's the process. And each step of the funnel has that same kind of stage to it. So if somebody looks at it, and I've had people look at it and I've not been able to get a hold of them since, let them go for now. I'll put them over there. But the people that then say, wow, that's really, really interesting, I would like to know more, then you go on to the next step of the funnel. Again, this takes some time, but it takes the pressure off of you because, number one, I've got literally my entire process. So I've got my first text I send out to people. For the people then that I didn't hear, out of the first 30 people, the 23 that I didn't hear from, I followed up with another text. And it would take me a second to find it, but it's the same kind of thing, saying, hey, I just wanted to reach out. Don't want to bug you, but if you're still interested in doing this, this is an opportunity to get into an industry that's exploding, chance to make money immediately, and I'd love to set up a time to talk with you, that kind of thing. After that, if I don't hear from them, I've already sent out, for instance, emails saying, just do me a favor. If you're not interested, it's okay, no worries. Let me know if you know anybody that is. I give them the website at that point. You never give them the website earlier because you don't want them to go get information that they're not ready for yet, nor do you want to bombard them with too much information. So there is a process to this. Now, I will tell you that it does take some time, something that a lot of us have quite a bit of at the moment. I don't mean to make light of the situation, but I don't know what else I have to do during the day than to literally follow these things up and get on the phone with people. This is when I tell you that there are people out there that enjoy talking about themselves. You have to know that. So for all of you that don't think you're good at this, that you're afraid to call somebody, that you'll quiver, I will tell you that in about an hour and a half, I'm getting on. They actually, if you subscribe to their service, they actually have training calls where you will hear other people, pros, making calls to people. Now, you're on mute and nobody knows you're on the phone, but you can hear the process. So this is very, very valuable. I mentioned this, again, for some people it might not be of interest. For some people, the money might be too much, and I'm getting to that, by the way. But it does take some time, and you do have to be diligent. If you do not follow the process, it's not going to work. If you skip a step, if you veer from the model too much, if you try to regurgitate too much information too soon, people run, they get scared, they get overwhelmed, etc. So I wanted to share that with you because I'm really, really excited about it. And I have enough kind of success right now with that, that I'm going to probably continue it for a while, because I do think as I get better and I hone it, it's really a wonderful thing. So I will tell you, I bought my first set of leads, 100 leads, for $49. And so that comes out to what, $210, $220, whatever it is, per lead. If you're spending $49 for $100 leads, and you can get one person to join your team, it's already worth it. There's a next level, and I wanted to just try it. I didn't want to sign up for the grand package or anything, because that's what I do. There's another level at this company, and I will continue to research if people are really interested in this to see if there's any other companies I would recommend or suggest. But there's another package where you get 600 leads for $135. I attempted to have a private Zoom meeting with my team last Friday. I've talked to most of them about it individually, saying, listen, if this is something that you're interested in or that you want to try, why don't we go in and buy the 600 leads? So if I have 6 people on my team that want to try this, well, that's what, $22 a piece, and you're going to get 100 leads over the next 2 or 3 weeks to work with. And that certainly gives you enough time to figure out whether this works for you or not. But again, it's using the sales funnel as a model, the process, the journey, but it also helps add numbers. I'll tell you what else it did for me. I get on the Zooms, and I've been fairly successful in my other business up until about 2 weeks ago. And I consider myself really, really comfortable when it comes to talking with people. But there were still a lot of things that I was hanging on to as far as the fear and not wanting to be that network marketing guy and all that kind of stuff. I will tell you what this has done for me. This lets me know how many people there are out there that are looking for something like this, that are looking for an opportunity like this, that can get in. And I mean, I've got some pretty inspiring stories already about some of the people that I've talked to. What that's done is that's made me more and more confident about what I call getting up and shouting this from the mountaintop, which is what you need to be doing. Again, it's a numbers game. It's going to take some time. There was one day I sent out 15 texts. I didn't get a single response. Now I did get 2 responses from that 15 when I sent out the second text. But at first it's like, oh, well, I didn't get any response at all. And you just never know. You never know what the reason for that might be. But as far as the process and as far as the model, it might have value. If you're not interested in buying leads, the model still stands. You need to find a way to introduce this to as many people as possible. I think everybody just kind of gets a little bunched up and I would tell you, the first person that I talked to, it was not good. It was horrible because I was trying to follow a bit of a script, and I put too much pressure on myself to be perfect and to do it instead of just trusting it and following the process of the goal of the first phone call, which is to learn a little bit about them and to ask for permission to send some information. After that, it's like you become a bit of a I don't want to say the word friend necessarily, but you do feel more comfortable calling them back and saying, do you have a chance to take a look at the stuff? Anyway, so I wanted to bring up that model tonight because I think it's really, really important. Again, if any of you want more information, want to know more about the specific companies, there's lots of them out there. You can look for MLM leads. I'm sure some companies are better than others, so it might be trial and error. But I will also find out from the company that I'm working with, how many people get the same lead that I do, for instance. So it's not I don't have an exclusive lead. Those are the ones that cost a little bit more money, which I may do at some point very, very soon, as a matter of fact. But if it's the kind of thing where we're all getting different leads and we get into the rotation, then there's no reason why all of us can't be using this same company. And we might be able to get some sort of collective, a deal on the number of leads. If we go to them and say, hey, we want to pay for, 2,000 leads. So depending on the interest, I'd be glad to look into that for everybody. But again, I wanted to bring up the sales funnel tonight. Understand it's a journey. It's a process. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to be a scientist. And again, start focusing on what's going to build your business, which is attracting other people to starting their own business, because that's where the business volume, that's where the product volume comes from. And there's power in other people succeeding as well. So I'm going to stop that on that note. Billy, do you want to jump in and say anything before we open it up for questions and answers?
I just wanted to share with everyone. Jeff has been, when he says he's been working his butt off, I have to tell you guys, he's been working his butt off on this, trying to learn, trying to think outside the box and find different ways to share with everyone. But he wouldn't even tell me just exactly what he was doing until he had it figured out, and it was proven. He didn't want to fill me with a bunch of hogwash and different ideas that he was trying. He went out there and he did it. He bought the leads. He called the people, set up times, and he's getting response out of it. So now he's came to the table, and I'm learning about this now too, and I'm super excited and very thankful. Obviously, we're really passionate about our products. our plan, our vision, and everything that we're doing here with Reaction to My Life Simple, Jeff is really thinking outside the box and trying to find ways for all of us. I might have a technique that works really good for me, and you might have something that works good for you. It is important for people like Jeff. We're very fortunate to have him go out there and find different ways, different ideas, and things that we can use to build our brand and build our businesses. So essentially, at the end of the day, we are building our brand, and that brand is you. So just going out there and sharing that and finding different ways to build warm leads and hot leads and end up with customers. And it's an amazing opportunity. I'm really looking forward to leaning on Jeff on this because he has put in the work, and I just got to thank him for that.
And Billy, one of the important things about this is, we've talked about this a little bit in the past, a successful direct marketing company is based on the simplicity of the model, the simplicity of the process. It has to be duplicatable. As we've talked about in the past, I said, for those of you that keep kind of ad-libbing and freewheeling and getting away from things, you're basically talking to 100 people and saying 100 different things. But we need to focus on doing the same thing 100 times. And that's what will grow this company. That's what is growing this company. And that's what will continue to grow this company and your business as well, is if you find a model that works. Like I said, we touched on it with our meeting in Mooresville. We've got a model that works now for live presentations. This is another situation where when we get into these, the funnel and the process with the, with the scripts and the different ways to reach out, it's something that's duplicatable. And most importantly, listen up, anybody can do it. If you've got the time, and whether it's 15 minutes a day or whether it's an hour a day or 2 hours a day, you can do this. You can make these calls in the evening. If somebody says, and the way you position it, if somebody says, hey, can you call me at 2 o'clock? Here's the answer. It's not, no, I've got to take care of my kids or I've got to work with. The answer is, you know what? I'm actually booked tomorrow. I do have a couple of phone openings in the evening. If that works for you, I can do that. So you position it as in a way that steers them towards that time. If you run into people that, for instance, just can't do it and you're not available during the day, then reach out to your upline or reach out to another team member or reach out to Billy and me, which I'm going to get to in a second, to help you with some of these phone calls. Billy and I are dedicated to helping people that aren't necessarily in our individual, downlines or uplines. It's the thing that surprised me a little bit because the people that are struggling, reach out. We say this every week, but I'm astounded by the fact that I get very few calls from people. I don't know whether you're embarrassed or you think Billy's such a rock star or that I know what I'm doing and that you're going to be embarrassed to reach out to help. Please, I expect my phone to ring off the hook from people saying, I've got an idea, or how do you do this, or any suggestions or anything like that. Please reach out to Billy or I and ask for help. We're all in this together, guys, and we're going to build this together. I got to tell you, things are exploding, and it doesn't have the same value if we can't help the people around us be successful. So just know that we're dedicated to that.
Hey,
anyway,
Jeff,
any comments? I know we
real quick. I don't know if everyone's seen Lindy's post this week. That was the most amazing thing I've ever seen on Facebook. The response that she got within a short amount of time, just briefing back on it, there was 77 comments of people wanting to try out her samples. So for those of you that missed it, she put a post on there about the Rip and Drips, our newest addition to My Life Simple and Reaction, about the relief cream and what her and Ron use and what they believe in, and put out there, hey, just want to reach out, share with everyone what Ron and I are using for our sore muscles and bones and joints. If you're interested in trying it out, please feel free to DM me or reach out. 77 comments, and I watched her doing these envelopes, and I was just picking my jaw up off the floor of how many people were responding to her and reaching out, and how many people have decided to go ahead and join the business, whether they want to do the business for themselves, be able to get their 25% off of those products that they believe in now, or they're looking at this as an opportunity. And I want to touch on something. Jeff's idea that he's working on, his sales funnels. I know he touched on this, but what he's going for is the people that are looking for us, not the people that we're looking for. These are people that are looking for opportunities like this I tell everyone, CBD is growing. This isn't going anywhere. This is booming, becoming more and more socially acceptable, and more people are using it. People are looking to get into a business like this. In my opinion, this is my opinion only, we have hands down the best compensation plan around. I've seen many others. This is an amazing opportunity. So just keep that in mind as you guys are pushing forward.
Billy, it was well said, and a great way to put it. You know, look for the people that are looking for you, as opposed to trying to chase the ones and trying to fit square pegs in round holes all the time. Lindy's post, yes, that's another example of, it's basically conversation, it's engagement, it's talking through social media. But she posted the thing about anybody wants to try a new sample. Now, she didn't bombard everybody with a whole bunch of information in the post. She said, this is the cream that Rob and I are using. If you want a free sample, reach out to me and I'll send you a free sample. And then the questions started. And then I saw the letter that she subsequently sent out to people. And that's with it. It's basically, that's a sales funnel, what she did. The next step was the sample rip and drip pouch and some information. So, yeah, and there we go. Yes, the awesome part is you can literally make money the minute you sign up. You've got your website. The number one quickest way to start generating income is retail sales. All these people that you reach out to, the people that responded to Lindy's ad, but if you are considering something like the leads and stuff like that, they are all people that have given you permission to contact them. You know, so another thing is to like I've been boosting some posts on Facebook, because if I post it on my Feel the Reaction page, sometimes I get like, 25 people. It's reached 25 people. For, $10, $11, I can boost it and get 1,500 people to look at it. And if people can comment, I then invite everybody to my page, knowing that if they at least reacted to it, that's a way of expressing the fact that they may be interested. So if they're not, proactive enough to reach out and ask questions, that, you know what, they're seeing all my posts now, etc. So it is about numbers. So that's the message for tonight. We need to find ways to expand our circles and make this about numbers and look for people that are looking for you. So does anybody have any questions? I know there was a lot of stuff on the chat bar. Any questions or comments from anybody? And once again, everybody goes silent because they don't want to speak, but that's okay. Reach out to us. What's on? I missed that, Sarah. What was that? Billy, did you see that? I was looking at my text to see the winners of the contest. Let me go back to the chat bar here.
Yeah, the chat's been going a little crazy. It's good.
And
I got to tell everyone, I've got one of my good friends on here, fellow racer, and I've talked to him multiple times. He's finally on the Zoom tonight with us. And the main thing that really caught his attention, and it was a real eye-opener for him and me as well, is when his dad used some of our pain relief cream on his wrist, on a broken wrist. So it just goes to show that it does take a few times. And even if you're friends with people and you reach out, it does take a few touch points to get people to really jump in and get involved in what you're doing and for them to believe in it. So it takes a little bit. I just want everyone to realize that. And thank you, Eric, for jumping on with us. And thank you, every single person that joins us each and every week. This is really enjoyable for all of us.
So somebody asked what rip and drip is. That's a phrase I was not familiar with until it was brought up in the office. Refers to a little pouch that you tear, which is what our samples are in, the orange tincture and the relief cream. And it's a little aluminum pouch, and you tear it, you rip it, and then you squirt it out. Hence the drip. Hence the rip and drip. I don't know if we come up with a different thing to call that, but I think that's what they're called actually. So, and they're really, really a valuable tool, by the way. So it's a lot cheaper to sample the product that way.
Jeff, do you see Kat's comment here? She'd love to see us do something on retail sales, kind of how to boost that.
As far as a Zoom, you mean, in the future?
Yeah.
I think we can do something on retail sales. I mean, it's certainly something to talk about. Yeah, absolutely. Especially as perhaps when it gets to the conversion stage of the funnel, that is the first stage of conversion for some people, is to sign up as retail customers. And we can talk about then the value in that for people, but then also the value in how to then continue the process to convert them into ambassadors. And I'll come right out and say it. The way to build your business and create a passive residual income is by getting other people to commit to their own businesses, and there's strength in numbers. A passive income is something, again, I get these terms mixed up, residual and passive, but it's something where you don't have to keep investing work in it to make the money. So a passive income is something that, it's like a landlord who owns a building. He buys the building and then he gets money every month without having to do stuff like market it and rent it out and all that kind of stuff. If you are focused on retail, again, it's a great way to convert people into ambassadors. And some people literally are happy just being retail customers. So, I'm not saying force it. But a passive income is when you're not having to do the same work. If you've got retail customers, you're doing the same work every month, is my point. So understand the value and the power in hopefully converting them into ambassadors, get the 25% off for them. And by the way, I think that there's a lot of people, and I've used this example in the past. I'm not sure whether Mary, whose salon is closing tomorrow, is on tonight because she's working late, but she wasn't really interested in the business, but wanted the 25% off and thought maybe she could sell it in her salon. She's kicking ass. She's doing great. And I told Candace that Mary needed to order some more. And she goes, oh, you mean Mary, the one who didn't want to do the business? So I think she's going to do really, really great things with this. And that will always be my story, is that that she didn't even want to do the business, and she's actually doing quite well at it. So
Jeff,
on that note, hello.
Hey, it's Lindy. I wanted to add something because I've had to learn from my mistake from when I very first joined. Because I'm a nice guy, I was giving a lot of people the product at a discounted price. And what I found is by doing that, the VIP 15% off or the ambassador 25% off wasn't effective for me because I've already given them that price. So I've learned that if they don't want to be an ambassador or VIP, make them pay retail, then they'll see the value in that VIP or in that ambassador pricing. So it was a mistake that I started off with, and I've learned from it. And now it's either retail or they can be it just makes the VIP and the ambassador a lot more valuable when you're talking to somebody.
That's a great point, Lindy. And I don't know if there's anybody that hasn't experienced that, but yeah, it's a great point, and it's a great it's a great lesson because you've made a commitment. And I believe this, especially if it's a friend, somebody that's close enough to me that would make me want to give them a product. I think friends should also do what they can to support your business. Like, for instance, I don't want a friend who's going to come to me and say, hey, can I get cost on a trade show exhibit? I want a friend who's going to come and say, I want to support your business, is what I want. Same with this. And it's the same idea as giving away a little bottle of tincture or something like that, because you're chasing somebody, you're chasing a sale, which I did a lot of last summer. And if there's no commitment there, I knew there were several people who took it home because they didn't want to hurt my feelings, but never did it. And so there's no commitment on their part. So that's one of the things, and it's based on the idea that there's a value to this product. And if they can't see the value in the product, in other words, if they're not willing to pay $149 for it as opposed to $112, then they might not be very serious about the product. And if money is an issue, then sign up, get the 25% off.
Jeff,
anyway, it's a great point.
I want to share something too real quick. So right now, the most popular thing going on and across the board is anxiety. And that's something that I have anxiety on a regular basis. And obviously with things going on right now, it's intensified a little bit. Just there's a lot of unknowns going on right now. So anxiety is kind of across the board for everybody, young and old, every age bracket. It's very popular, and a lot of people are suffering from it. It kind of backs up my passion for the tincture and what that tincture does for me. And you guys will see if you guys jump on the live Zoom that I tell every single person I know that I would pay $1,000 for that tincture. And Lindy, thank you for saying what you were doing as well, because I'm just as guilty, trying to give this stuff away and get it in people's hands. I've also switched my roles and showed people how much I would pay for this bottle, because it's changed my life so many different directions, so many ways. It's helped me. I use it on a normal basis 2 times a day at the racetrack, 4 or 5 times a day. And it just is crazy. So I want to share that with everyone just during these times. And unfortunately, we have this going on in our world right now. But fortunately, we have products that can really help people. So don't be afraid to put these products in people's hands and take advantage of those rip and drips, because the time is now. People need it. So I just want to share that with everyone.
Hey
Yeah,
guys,
Billy, thanks.
it's Rachel. Thanks for the Zoom tonight, as always. David's in Chicago working, so he's not with me watching this. But because I know the caramels, which he would say it with his accent a little differently, are going out of stock, and I want to get my rip and drips before my simple ship is due in early April. So I'm going to be placing an order tomorrow. But I am so glad you guys came out with those. I'm glad you did the 1,000 ml on the tincture and the orange. How cool is that? But yeah, I'll be placing an order tomorrow. One thing that, we're all going to have to be really financially, what's the word? Self-conscious, I guess, right? So this makes it a lot more affordable to do sampling and contest winning like I do in my group. But one thing I've noticed with people is and by the way, you can go on Amazon, you can buy like small, like padded little envelopes, right? Because they're nice to ship in, and put your business card in with your rip and drip or whatever. But when you somebody said you have skin in the game. So people will pay for shipping, and shipping will be under $4 and a nice, $3 at the most, 3, 4, I don't know, something like that. So that helps get some skin in it with the sampling. If you're going to do the rip and drip, to say, okay, I'll ship it to you. Do you mind PayPaling me the shipping? Right. And when they do that, you've got a serious person interested, because $3 or $4 for them to try something that's going to help them with their anxiety or pain, they have skin in it. So I'm just putting it out there. I've had success with that with another product line in the past. When they PayPal'd me the shipping, do you follow me? Just putting that out there. So
Yeah, and I think that's different for everybody. And you can experiment with that process. Like Lindy said, she sent hers in regular white envelopes with a stamp. And does anybody know what a stamp costs these days? I don't even know.
It's one stamp for one package, or 2 stamps for 2 packages. And I'm not trying to share my age, but Lindy had to give me a breakdown on how stamps work because I've never used them. So it's pretty cool. This has been an exciting little journey that we've been doing with watching her ship all these envelopes off. But she's sending them that way. I believe it's like 50 cents.
Well, Billy, when I was a boy, we used to send things when the stagecoach used to come by and pick them up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're a funny guy.
Yeah. Billy refers to me as I'm the wise guy with the gray hair. Anyway,
Catherine wanted to see at the rip and drip. Can you see him? Am I showing him so you can see him?
I don't know if I can hold that in front of your face, basically. Don't take that personally. And hold it down a little bit. There you go. Perfect. Those are the rip and drips right there, kids.
Right there.
And they're really simple. And yeah, it's what people were asking for. And so we did it. It's a lot less expensive to get somebody to try the product. Oh, look who that is. To let people sample the product for the cost of one of these, rather than giving them a bottle that runs you, $20. So these are very, very, very valuable tools. And there are so many people that literally do experience, especially with both of these products, the Relief Cream and the tincture, that experience immediate relief. So they're great selling tools. And again, Lindy converted, I don't know how many people into ambassadors already, half dozen or something like that. So it worked. So again, it's all about ideas, about talking to people. Remember, if you don't have anybody to talk to, your business is dead. So if you run out of people, let's find ways to get you people to talk to. Okay? All right, kids, on that note, we're going to wrap it up. Wow, that hour went by very, very fast for me. Hope it did for you too. the winners of the T-shirts tonight. What's so funny? Did I say something funny? The winners of the T-shirts. Sarah Church is the winner of one of the T-shirts tonight. And Sarah, just put something in the chat bar or reach out to us and let us know what size you need. And the winner of the second T-shirt is Greg Smith.
Congratulations, guys.
So for those guys, we need to know what size shirt you have. Again, guys, stay tuned. We are going to do as much as we can to remain open and operable until we're told that we are no longer legally allowed to do that. So again, right now, the Mecklenburg County shelter in place does not affect us. We're in a different county, and we will do our best to continue to fulfill orders throughout all of this, and we may have a couple of ways to be able to do that and still honor the idea that we're all keeping away from each other and not getting anybody sick. So on that note, guys, Billy, thanks again very much.
Yeah,
Thanks to everybody.
Answer Lisa real quick, Jeff. before we say goodbye. She was asking how much those Rip and Drips are. They're a couple bucks a piece. They're just over $2 if you do the math, or you can buy them in, I believe, either 10, 20, or 40 packets. They're available in your back office. They're not available on your retail websites. These are for ambassadors only. So go in your back office, under shopping cart, under tinctures, you'll see the tincture Rip and Drips, and then under topicals, you will see the relief Rip and Drips. So everyone go check those out. We, Jeff, I, Lindy, everyone highly encourage you guys to get some of those and get them out there.
Yep. You're welcome, guys. Again, thank you. We do this for you, and we're glad to do it, and I hope you found value in it. Please reach out to Billy and I, like I said, and stay safe and stay healthy. And have a great week, guys.
All right. Thank you, guys.